Once again, we're going to share a beautiful evening. I just got done mowing the lawn a few moments ago, and it's a very beautiful day. Started out a bit overcast and threatening of rain. We actually got a little, not too awfully much. And nonetheless, this evening, when I got home from the library, after the sun started to go across the sky a little bit and hide and peek behind some clouds and under the canopy of the trees, I was able to get my mowing done in spite of the high humidity. My gosh, I just can't get over the humidity here sometimes. So at the time I'm making this, it is the 17th of June 2025, and it is about 1950 p.m. Central Daylight Time, which would make it about 0050 Universal Time Coordinated, for those of you who can use the world clock and calculate from there. It never ceases to amaze me that most of the world is already on tomorrow by now. And here we are, here in southeast Illinois, still on yesterday. Hopefully you can hear the bird song. It is beautiful tonight. There's a little traffic as the air begins to cool. Hello. It looks like two people who joined us. Welcome aboard. Would you like to enter something into the chat? And Varlin says, so beautiful. Indeed it is, Varlin. Indeed it is. And Red Love 11 is subbed. Thank you. And Angela says, cool view. Thank you, Angela. And Red says hello. Everybody can say hi to Red. And Pat says, the scenery looks absolutely gorgeous. And Angela comments that she likes it as well. It is beautiful. I'm here in Olney, Illinois, which is a little town of about 9,000 people in southeastern Illinois. Believe it or not, I live in a mobile home park, but I live at the very edge of the mobile home park. And fortunately, the land immediately behind my mobile home park is somewhat of a little prairie. And by nature of that, I get to enjoy some beautiful, beautiful sunsets, in spite of being in somewhat of a wee bit of an urban setting. And Pat asks, what are your hobbies? Well, this is one of them, I guess. Taking in the splendor of nature, and being inspired by these things. How about you, Pat? What are your hobbies? And that goes for Angela and Red and anybody else. You can go ahead and open up and let us know what you enjoy doing. I don't know how well you can see it, but the sun is now starting to peek underneath the clouds. It may be a very dramatic sunset tonight. And Pat says, well, I like to do marching band stuff. I'm currently going into my sophomore year, and I'm hoping to reach my goals of rejoining DCI or college state bands. DCI, if I recall correctly, that's Drum Corps International, isn't that correct? Yes, long ago, I had a friend that was a member of the Phantom Regiment at one time out of Rockford. And she was a very, very, very gifted young woman. I met her while she was in her studies at Illinois State University learning music education. And she was just absolutely phenomenal. There wasn't a musical instrument that she could not play. And she went on to continue her studies and to eventually teach down in Florida. And we connected because when I was in junior high and high school, I was in the rhythm section of our junior high and high school band. And music has been something that has always, always touched me. And Varlin says, I kind of like baseball and mostly surfing, and I'm trying to make it into IMG Academy in Florida to try to pursue my baseball career. Now, Varlin, could you tell us what IMG stands for? And Pat remarks to Varlin, those are some cool goals, dude. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But no less cool than yours yourself. I'm curious, Pat, are you hoping to go into teaching or just simply express yourself through music? And Varlin has replied that IMG stands for International Management Group. Wow. Well, it's a highly competitive field. I hope you do well. And Pat says, I'm not planning on teaching per se. If I go down that path, then it'll happen. Well, just betwixt you and me, Pat, I actually pray that it does. Besides the young woman that I knew, one of my late cousins was also a percussionist. And my gosh, how gifted he was. And I'll never forget that after muscular dystrophy took his ability to play the drums, he was an amazing drummer. He learned how to use synthesizers and electronic drums to arrange and create music. And he continued his gift. But the thing about music education that is so important to me, even though, to be perfectly honest, I never learned how to read music. I just simply learned how to mimic. But my music teacher in junior high and high school. His name was Jack Gingler, and Jack was an amazing individual, and he put together our junior high and high school bands back in the day, and for over a quarter of a century, our little school, which when I graduated, my senior class was only 26 students, but we had 115 students in the high school band out of a high school that only constituted 154 students total. Now, admittedly, we brought up about 20% from the junior high level. They were that good. And where we suffered so much in sports, we bonded and excelled thanks to Mr. Gingler's tutelage in band. And the happiest memories I have of my junior high and high school years are those moments that I spent in band. We were not a marching band, we were a concert band. We had no strings, brass and woodwinds and percussion. But Mr. Gingler gave all of us the opportunity to express ourselves and to become part of a greater whole. And some of our bandmates went on to become professional pianists and performed at other levels. But it takes a very, very special person to teach, and I understand that. But we are all called to be teachers in some way at some point in our lives. And to lead, and at the same time to follow. And Pat has said, and I have to tip my glasses because I have my glasses on, that's pretty awesome. I got through middle school band by mimicking what my band director, Mr. Ellis, would show me until I finally learned how to read percussion sheet music. So Pat, you and I are remarkably alike. I've actually forgotten how to read percussion sheet music. I'm slow, to be perfectly honest. I played myself. I started with bass drum and cymbals, and then eventually in high school was taught timpani. We only had 2 kettle drums, but eventually was taught timpani. But during competitions where we had to do sight reading, usually the first chair percussionist, who was the late Kevin Froning. We just lost Kevin a few years ago in a tragic accident. But Kevin, when I was a senior, he would take over for my timpani duties. And he was an amazing percussionist himself. I miss him greatly. But yeah, we learned so much from being part of a band or expressing ourselves through music, or even learning to appreciate music. And that was one of the gifts that Mr. Gingler gave all of us, was that we played so many different types of music. We all knew that Mr. Gingler was a frustrated big band leader. He came up in that era. But he would play things that had a sense of humor. One of the things that we would play from time to time was bubbling woodwinds. And it's a bit of a challenging piece if you're familiar with it. But yeah. And Pat's saying here, sight reading would always get me back in middle school. And rest in peace, the first chair percussion guy. I forget names quick. That's okay, Pat. That's okay. I do too sometimes. I'm 63. Um, you know, Kevin's name is etched in my mind forever, because we were so young and we spent so many moments together at in high school band. But yeah, I'm sure he's probably watching over us right now, and yeah, yeah, he was a great guy. Left a wonderful wife and grown children and some grandchildren, and but what the most important thing that Kevin left with me was happy memory. Now, if you're looking off towards the horizon right now, it looks like there's, maybe to you it'll look like there's a mountain range there. Actually, there isn't. That's actually another bank of clouds that the sun is starting to go behind. So it looks just like a mountain range in the distance. Isn't that amazing? And Pat says, "You must be really religious. I am Christian myself. I don't mean to get religious here, but one of my favorite verses is John 3:16 through 18. Yes, I am. I am a practicing Christian. I am very humbled. Excuse me. I just need to take a moment here. But I'm very humbled to have an awareness of God and of Christ. And if I can recall correctly, that passage is one of the few that I can actually recite. And Pat says, "That is beautiful. It is amazing how clouds can get us sometimes to think that it's something else." Well, the way I see it, it's just not by accident. And Red is back. But as I was saying, Pat, it's no accident. This is a beautiful gift of God we get to share tonight. We can't create a sunset like that. We could paint one, or we might be able to mimic it with artificial intelligence. But from where I sit right now, you can hear the bird song. And start to hear some of the tree frogs. And what you can't hear, but I can feel, is just a hint of a breeze as it caresses my arm and my neck and the top of my head where I don't have hair anymore. And I'm smiling as I say that. I still have some perspiration topside because I haven't been inside to take a shower or anything. Thank you, Pat. Pat says the way you describe stuff makes me feel like I'm there. Well, it's not just the words I use, Pat. It's the gift of your imagination and the gift of your experience and the gift of your awareness that you've experienced beautiful moments like these yourselves. So, Pat, could I ask a favor of you? Could you please type in the Bible passage, John 3:16 through 18, please, if you might, so I could read it? And Pat's going to go ahead and type that in here in just a moment. Excuse me, please. Okay, Pat has entered in, and I'll go ahead and read. John 3, verses 16 through 18. For God so loved the world that he gave us his only begotten Son, so that whoever believes in him will not perish, but have eternal life. It's a very humbling thing to think about, isn't it, Pat? So much love. So much love. You're so kind, Pat. Thank you. And kindness is a quality that seems to be in short supply right now. But you're so kind to join us in this moment and share it with us. You contributed so much of God's love just by being here. And Pat says, just to think a Father that loved his creation, even though we have sinned much, gives us his Son that we will join him one day. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I guess our challenge is that as he lived, the Son and the Father, we need to learn to live. It was the Father that brought us the law. And it was the Son that the Father sent to redeem us when we fell short. I've always regarded that as somewhat of a very precious resource. It's not to say that God's love isn't infinite. It's that to say that the more aware we are of Christ's sacrifice for us and God's love for us, Heavenly Father to say, in the sending of that love, and the less we try to sin, in the awareness of that we may benefit from it in the reputations of our character here on earth, and in the sound of our voices as we rejoice in heaven. It never really makes us any better than anybody else. It just reflects love for God back towards Him. And Pat says, one story from the Bible sticks with me. The story of the day of His crucifixion. 2 criminals were crucified with Him. One mocked Him, yet one pleaded with Him to remember Him. Yes. And Jesus said, do not fret, for this day you will join me in paradise. Yes. Yes. Oh, Pat. Well, I guess we have a little bit of paradise here tonight. Oh, Pat. She asks, are you okay? I didn't mean to make you cry. Pat, you wouldn't make me cry. I am easily overwhelmed by the beauty of things. Just today, as I was riding the bus, I ride a little bus that runs around here. I don't drive anymore. And I was talking to the driver, and we were discussing singers. And I had mentioned the musician, the singer Adele, and the song that she sings, Hello, and how it moves me so. And that it causes my eyes to get wet and for me to choke up a little bit just about every time I hear it. And the same thing applies to music that doesn't have lyrics. To see a band or an orchestra, or to hear a choir sing, at times can move me to tears. But they're not sad tears. It's just that I'm overwhelmed. Just that I'm overwhelmed. We're all capable of crying tears of joy. And it's really strange because sometimes you feel pain in your heart. But it's not so much a sad pain as it's just your heart being filled beyond what it can normally carry in the beauty that you hear. And Pat says crying isn't a bad thing. People say that crying is for the weak. But she says, I say it's for the strong. It proves that they are not afraid to show emotion. True. True. Thank you, Pat. Thank you very much. Well, I think that's going to be it for tonight. We do have an airplane that's kind of flying around. I think he's doing just loops around the north side of town. I don't know how long he'll be at it, if he's got night rating or not. I once learned, or was starting to learn how to fly. And Pat says, I subscribe so that way I'll know whenever you have another live stream, so I'll be able to join. Well, thank you, Pat, but I'm going to give you a heads up about something, okay? My live streams cover all manner of different topics. I mean, everything from being a mobile home owner to how to take care of your shoes and boots to even political commentary at times. They're not always moments like these, but I'm sure you can go ahead and filter through them whenever I come on. And mind you, I don't really have a schedule. There's a lot of chaos in my life, and I just grab moments when I can. So they're kind of impromptu things. But yeah, you may have to, how can I put it? You'll get a notification that I'm up, and then you'll tune in and, we're talking about, well, gee whiz, this is how you polish your boots, or who knows what. And you might find it kind of boring, that type of thing. And I understand that. But yeah, I appreciate you subbing. And Pat says, I don't mind that. My family is very political and stuff. Oh, yeah, most families are. Most families are. I try to seek a neutral middle ground, which is very hard in the current climate. And Pat says that sometimes they get into the debates. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. The important thing is, though, is that we try to remain kind, and we try to appreciate both views and try to find a median, or perhaps even a new path that both sides could follow. Well, and Pat says, I'm glad I found you. I enjoyed this. And Pat, I'm glad that you're here. These things that I do in these meditations, or even sharing an evening, they're not about me. They're about you and everyone else who contributes in the chat. Just be glad that God is around. I'm just one 63-year-old guy, pretty much taking up time, space, and gravity. and I'd be an empty vessel if it wasn't for God. So I'm glad you're here. I mean, I'm very blessed to know that you're here tonight. But thank God for the beautiful sunset and these moments we shared, because all the glory really does belong to Him. All I'm doing is holding up a cell phone and conversing, and I'd have nothing to talk about if you didn't enter into the chat. So without you, I'd be nothing at all, but just another old man rambling into a cell phone. And I think with that, Pat, I think we're going to say goodnight. Walney. And Pat says, thank you for showing me the beautiful sunset of Illinois. And good night. And good night to you, Pat, and to everyone, no matter where you may be. Thank you for joining us. And we really appreciate everyone who's watched tonight. And we're very thankful to God for bringing us together in this moment. So, until next time, good luck and Godspeed, everyone. And I hope to see you around town.